Welcome to Audit Archive, where we sort out the who and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. Join us as we explore the laws, regulations, and violations showcased in First Amendment audits, police interactions, and legislation.
Waiting for his Uber to come pick him up so he could get home safely. Mr. James apparently had a few drinks and hence decided not to sit behind the wheel himself, which was a very logical decision. However, he was soon approached by an officer of the Wheat Ridge Police Department who was driving by in his patrol vehicle when he found Mr. James to be suspicious. This entire encounter was captured on the officer's body cam. Watch as the officer immediately started to demand Mr. James's ID.
How you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Waiting on my Uber.
Waiting for your Uber?
Yeah.
You have an ID I can take a look at, man?
No, you don't. I don't. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Well, you're sitting in front of a closed bar and I can
I'm
see you're
waiting on my
intoxicated.
Uber, my friend.
Let me see your ID.
No.
Okay. We can do this one in two ways, sir.
We can
Okay,
do this
I'm being respectful to you.
I'm sitting here waiting on my Uber. I am doing nothing
Show me on your
wrong.
phone that your Uber's coming.
You know what? I want to break out my camera right now.
Go ahead, mine's running
I want
as
to
well.
start filming you.
Mine's running as well.
I am not doing anything wrong.
Okay, well,
I'm doing everything right. Not drinking and driving. And why are you messing with me?
I'm not messing with you, sir. You're sitting in front of a closed bar. You're sitting in front of a closed bar.
You are messing with a Navy veteran that is waiting on an Uber.
Sir, I'm going to ask you one more
That
time.
is doing nothing wrong.
Can I see your ID?
No, you can't.
You're drunk in public.
No, I'm not drunk in public.
Give me your ID. I'm giving you a lawful order.
You're not getting anything.
Right away, it could be said that the officer was trying to violate Mr. James's fundamental rights. Mr. James had indeed done nothing wrong and committed no crime whatsoever, but the officer continued to demand ID and called it a lawful order. According to the Colorado Revised Statute 16-3-103, a peace officer may stop any person who he reasonably suspects is committing, has committed, or is about to commit a crime, and may require him to give his name and address, identification if available, and an explanation of his actions. Now, keeping this in mind, note that Mr. James was simply sitting in public outside a bar, minding his own business. Plus, it goes without saying that sitting on a bench in public is not a crime at all. So, by extension, the officer had no reasonable suspicion to detain and question Mr. James, making this an unlawful detention. But things immediately escalated from there anyway, as the officer decided to restrain Mr. James and place him in handcuffs as soon as he started to record the situation on his mobile phone.
Okay, stand up.
I am not doing anything wrong.
Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up.
What are you doing? I'm sitting
Put your
here
hands behind
doing
your back.
nothing.
Put your other hand behind your back. Set your phone down, sir, and put your hand behind your back.
I'm sitting here doing nothing. Waiting on an Uber.
Too big for state protective custody.
Huh?
Okay, all I asked for was to see your Uber.
I'm doing
and you want to
nothing.
argue, and you're intoxicated. I don't think you're making good choices, sir.
I'm waiting on my Uber, which is the best choice.
Sir, all I was trying to do was verify.
The worst choice would be driving.
Sir, all I was trying to do was verify your Uber. Was that right or wrong?
Well, if you unlock me, I'll show you the Uber.
Well, that's what I. How many times did I ask for that, sir? Huh?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Have I done anything illegal?
Well, you're intoxicated in public.
I'm sitting on a bench waiting on my Uber.
At a closed business in a high crime area.
Waiting on my Uber.
So, sir, I have no idea who you are or what you're doing, and it's my job to find out. So all I did was wanted to have a conversation with you, and you won't give me any information at all, and it's obvious that you're intoxicated, right?
That is why I am waiting on an Uber.
Right, and how many times did I ask you to see your Uber? I tell you, my body camera's
running.
running.
All right, well, unlock me if it's that big a deal, and I'll show you my Uber.
All you want to do is film me and argue with me.
As seen in the footage, Mr. James was now placed in handcuffs for being intoxicated in public. Well, it's definitely obvious that Mr. James was under the influence of alcohol. But the thing is, the officer did not have the right to detain him for public intoxication. This is because, according to the Colorado Revised Statute 27-81-117, it's made clear that a county, municipality, or other political subdivision may not adopt or enforce a local law, ordinance, resolution, or rule having the force of law that includes drinking, being a person with an alcohol use disorder, or being found in an intoxicated condition as one of the elements of the offense giving rise to a criminal or civil penalty or sanction. In other words, local governments are prohibited from making it illegal to consume alcohol or punishing individuals solely for being intoxicated or having an alcohol use disorder, especially when no crime is committed. So, by now, it's no question that the officer had unlawfully detained Mr. James.
I have done nothing wrong. I'm sitting here minding my own business.
Sir,
True or false?
I'm just doing my job.
You are with a Navy veteran.
Sir, step over here.
Just sitting here minding my own business.
Step over here. Sir, you can't even walk.
I'm sitting here minding my own business.
You can't even walk, sir.
What are you guys doing?
You can't even walk. You're
What?
intoxicated
No,
to the point where you're a danger to yourself.
No. I'm sitting here minding my own business. What are you guys doing? I'm waiting on my Uber.
Sir,
Doing
you're going to go to
nothing.
detox. You can't even walk.
Oh my God,
Okay.
dude.
You can't
Uncuff
even
me and let me know if I can walk or not.
Well, it's pretty obvious that you can't.
You guys, are you serious? I have an Uber coming. I have an Uber coming.
Double lock those. They're not double locked.
Guys, seriously,
I'll
stop.
grab his stuff. Let me get in the car.
I have an Uber coming. Please stop. Just let me go home. I have an Uber coming. I was sitting in the chair, not
Sir?
bothering anybody.
Sir, I was trying to be reasonable with you.
Oh my
It's
God,
obvious that you're
dude. I am a
feeling
Navy
frustrated.
veteran.
Okay, thank you for your service.
And I'm just sitting there minding my own business.
Right, at a closed business.
And
it's my
waiting
job-
on my Uber.
Sir, and all I asked was for you to verify it. All I asked you to do was show me it on your phone, and I'm good with that. Okay, but you refused to do that.
It's worth pointing out that Mr. James was not obligated to provide the officer with any sort of proof of whether he had actually booked an Uber or not. The officer had nothing to do with what Mr. James was up to and why he was sitting on a bench that night. In fact, it could be said that the officer had essentially violated Mr. James's Fourth Amendment right by now, as it stated that the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall issue but upon probable cause. And since we already know that the officer had zero probable cause, we can confirm that Mr. James's rights were being violated. Now watch as the two officers on the scene patted Mr. James down before securing him in the backseat of the patrol vehicle.
Guys really, you're gonna
Okay.
do this to a Navy veteran?
Sir,
I'm sitting on a
have a seat in the car.
Oh my God, man. Are you guys serious? I've done
I have
nothing.
no idea who he is.
Do you have any weapons on you, sir?
No, I don't have any weapons on me.
Just hold on for 30 seconds.
I have no weapons on me. I mean, I can't believe you guys are doing this. I seriously can't, to a Navy veteran. Are you really doing this to a Navy veteran?
I'll grab his phone. I was trying to be reasonable.
The officer turned off his body cam at this point after unlawfully seizing Mr. James's mobile phone. 3 minutes later, his body cam started to run again, and both officers on the scene engaged in a discussion while their body cams remained muted. Then, suddenly, the officers decided to let Mr. James show them proof that he had actually booked an Uber, and they appeared to backpedal with their unconstitutional actions. The first officer even stated that he would let Mr. James go if he could confirm that an Uber was in fact booked. It was almost as if the officers knew they had Mr. James detained for no reason, and now wanted to let him go while making it appear like a natural procedure.
James, listen to me.
Didn't drink and drive.
Thank you
made
for
the
that.
right choice. And you guys come up and just shake me down.
James,
Navy veteran.
James.
Combat medic.
James.
Talk to me. I mean, I'm just sitting there, waiting on my Uber. My Uber is
Is
gonna
there
be there in
anybody
2 minutes.
sober that can come get you?
You're not listening.
You're not, sir.
I called an Uber.
Well, you can't
The
call.
Uber was 2 minutes away.
You can't.
before you shook me down.
James, we've been here for 10 minutes and they're not here. You can't call Uber. Okay? That's
Where's
not the
my
way.
phone?
That's not the way Uber works. He's got your
Where's
phone.
my phone?
He's got your
Right
phone
here.
right there.
Look it up. Whether I call an Uber or not.
You can't call them on the phone.
Did you do it through an app or did you
I
call
did
them?
do the Uber app.
Alright, so how do I get into your phone?
6969.
If they're coming, man, I'll release you to them. But if not,
6969.
but if they're not, you're not
And
leaving
then
us much
look up
choice.
Uber. Listen, fellas.
There's a green button.
I am a former combat medic.
James, thank you for
sitting
your
there,
service.
How do you,
and I'm not going to let you.
how do I go?
6969.
He's in it.
I'm in.
Uber.
Where do I search that? I don't have this
Go
stuff.
to the Uber app. Just scroll through till you find the Uber app. Listen, fellas, you should not be doing this to a combat medic veteran. I was sitting there minding my own business.
Is he coming?
5
I
minutes.
Okay, he's James.
I respect
James.
you guys.
James.
I respect
James.
your job.
James, listen to me for a minute. I appreciate that. It says it's 5 minutes away. If he's here in 5 minutes, we will release you to that Uber.
Okay.
Okay?
Please, let me out of here and tell me I didn't do it.
When the Uber gets here, we'll do that.
As we've just seen, the officer suddenly started to act in a level-headed manner once Mr. James proved that he was actually waiting for an Uber. The driver was scheduled to arrive in 5 minutes, and the officer stated that he'd let Mr. James go then. However, the officer was simply extending this completely illegal and unlawful detainment, when in reality, Mr. James shouldn't have been detained in the first place.
Okay, this is
Gentlemen.
James. James,
Fellas,
listen, James,
are any of you
James, James,
military?
James, listen to me. All you had to do was show me this in the first place.
Listen,
Okay, and I would have waited with you.
listen, here's the problem.
Okay, you're not hearing me, sir.
No, I'm hearing you, brother.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm hearing you, but I'm a
What kind of
former
car?
combat medic.
Yep.
Veteran.
Thanks for your service.
And I
Mitsubishi.
got a little, I felt a little intimidated, man. Like I wasn't respected.
We're sorry you felt that way, James.
Yeah, James, that wasn't my intention.
We
I
were
would
coming
never
to,
do it to you guys.
we were concerned for your welfare. That's why we contacted you.
All right.
We didn't want you
Well,
walking
thank
off
you.
into the
Thank
street.
you, fellas. Thank you.
And now that we know that there's a sober driver, we're okay with releasing you.
Alright. You understand that I'm a former combat Navy medic.
Yeah, I understand that, and
I
thank you for your
read that.
service.
And you just, okay. And made the right choice.
We
Not
appreciate that,
drinking
sir.
driving.
And I appreciate that, really. Oh, but here's the thing.
Are you guys
is-
veterans?
But here's the thing:
You guys veterans?
is a lot of people lie to the cops, and as far as I know, I'm contacting you drunk, which is it's fine. You're drunk. That's not a big deal. But if you wander out in this street and get hit,
I understand.
then it's on me, man.
I understand.
Okay, it's on me, and I don't want you to get hit by a
I
car.
understand. I
So-
appreciate it. I understand.
So hang tight. As soon as Uber gets here, dude, I have no problem. I have no problem releasing you to the Uber.
Well, could you do me a favor and uncuff me before? Because it's uncomfortable, brother. I've
I
broken
get
the
you.
laws.
I get you. You gonna be cooperative?
Absolutely.
I'm good with it if you are. Yeah, I'm good with that, man. Okay, just hey, as long as you and I agree that you're gonna be cool,
Hey.
right?
I want to have one more thing to say, brother.
You can talk all you want.
By this point, the officers not only admitted that there was no problem with Mr. James being drunk, but he also manipulated the situation to make it appear as if he had done all of that just to make sure Mr. James was safe. Obviously, this was not true, but Mr. James was finally uncuffed, and the officers now displayed an exaggerated level of kindness after severely violating his rights.
You can just turn the space the car for me.
So you can get that other one off, man. It's easier if he spins you around so you're not.
Anyway, I
There you
didn't, listen, I didn't mean to be offensive.
I get you,
I
man.
was
It's
doing
fine,
the
no
right
offense.
thing. I was sitting.
And I commend you for that. I really do. I commend you for that. You're good.
Yeah,
So hey,
let me tell you something.
pull up that Uber app. real quick.
Iraq veteran, okay?
Thanks for your service, man. Pull up that app on your phone again so we can see how far that Uber driver is.
Where's my phone?
It's up here. It said 5 minutes when we looked at it, so let's see where they're at. How many minutes? Cool.
3 minutes.
I'm good with that, man. I just wanted to, because it said 5 minutes, and
Yes, sir.
they must be.
I didn't mean to be offensive, man.
No,
I
you
just
weren't
thought I was
offensive,
sitting
man.
minding my own business.
You're not offensive, but you have to understand, man.
The wrong thing to do is drive, right?
Agreed. So let me tell you.
Worst thing to do,
let me tell you-
which I won't do.
Let me tell you a quick story. A few years back, I had somebody over here that was stabbed just like that. So I wouldn't be doing my job, man, if I didn't check to make sure you're okay. Like I said, if you didn't have Uber coming and you walk out into 44th and get hit by a drunk driver or somebody's not paying attention, then that's on me, man. And I'm not. And you're a veteran, dude. I'm not gonna. I don't want that on my. I don't want here. I don't want that on my conscience.
Maybe
man.
your thing got a little out of hand, dude. I should have been
No,
more.
there was nothing out of hand.
No, maybe you shot. I didn't understand what was going on.
I understand.
What
yeah.
I thought was I'm sitting on a bench, not driving, as a veteran, because you know what? When I was in the military, I was a crazy, drinking all the time. But I thought, I'm sitting here minding my own business, and waiting on my Uber. And I'm sorry, dude, if I offended you.
No, dude, you didn't offend me. See, the thing is, you're like an hour past last call, so.
Well, once again,
I was waiting.
choices.
I
Life is about choices.
I agree, man.
And the choice is don't drink and drive.
Agreed,
I
and that's a smart
absolutely
choice.
had a few drinks.
Finally, while the officers continued to engage in a lighthearted conversation with Mr. James, his Uber finally arrived and he was free to leave. In the following footage, the officer was captured explaining to the Uber driver what had happened. This was just another way to justify his unlawful actions, and some would assume that what he had done was perfectly fine. Notice how the officers basically manipulated Mr. James, who was drunk, into thinking that they were simply doing their job of protecting him. But we can't forget that just a few minutes ago, the first officer was physically restraining Mr. James without a reason.
Are you Uber?
Yeah.
I got your guy's over here.
Is he okay?
Yeah. No, he's sitting in front of a closed bar,
Uh-huh.
hunched over a little bit. He's had a little bit to drink, so
Okay.
he's good.
Okay.
He's good. He just had a good time. He's not creating any problems, but as a police officer, I drive by and see somebody hunched over on a bench outside of a closed bar, and that's a clue. All right, man. Here you go, dude.
Hey,
They're gonna get you home, brother.
never lied to you.
Nope, you didn't. I appreciate that. They're gonna get you.
Yeah.
Yep, that's James.
I'm alright.
Thanks, man.
Hey, thank you guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Soon after the date of this incident, Mr. James allegedly filed a formal complaint to the Wheat Ridge Police Department, and their response was unbelievable. It was reported that Wheat Ridge Police maintained that 2 state statutes allowed them to legally operate as they did. Statutes that allow peace officers to detain anyone suspected of committing a crime, or anyone who is intoxicated or inebriated. In the latter case, citizens can be detained in an effort to transport them to a detoxification center. Mr. James was interviewed, and he shared his thoughts on the entire encounter.
At 2:25, I called Uber. Okay, at 2:27, the Wheat Ridge Police Department showed up and started harassing me. I believe in the Bill of Rights. I didn't feel that there was justification for me to show my ID. I wasn't committing any crime.
Would you do anything differently and immediately just say, here's my ID, fine?
No, I would not. I would not just hand over my ID when I am not committing any crimes. That's why we have rights in this country. They're called civil rights.
As of the date of this recording, the latest update provided to the public by Mr. James is that he was exploring the possibility of hiring an attorney to further pursue this case of wrongful detainment. Both officers involved are allegedly still on duty at the Wheat Ridge Police Department, with no consequences for their actions.
One account commented that turns off their audio or video while dealing with an incident should be charged with obstruction and/or tampering. Another person: these police officers were extremely offensive to this veteran. They need to be fired immediately and charged for their crimes. Ray Horn says, earning the hate, one encounter at a time. As long as there is any form of immunity, there are no actual public servants, and the abuse, incompetence, arrogance, violence, and self-righteousness will continue. Sad other accounts. I'm a Vietnam vet on nuclear subs, and these tyrant officers should not be proud of their service. Alan Eisner replies, how do Americans think this kind of behavior from a police officer, sworn to uphold the laws, that violates this man's rights? You should be embarrassed and outraged by this kind of behavior, and this officer should be fired and have his canceled certification.